Hi, welcome to a lecturette on testing for truth. As we saw, truth is a pretty straightforward concept, right? It's the matching of an expression's meaning to the reality that it's attempting to describe. So, to give an example, if I show you a book that is purple, and I say this is a purple book, that's true or false. In this case, it happens to be true. So when we're trying to create a test, right, to understand the truth conditions of an expression, what we want to do is set up series of contexts that rule out false truth conditions and help us to understand what the right ones are. Just to come back to the example of purple. Right? If you're examining a language and you hear this word purple and you don't know what it means, well, how would you find out? Well, let's say if you thought it was a color, then you would try different colors. Right? Is this purple? Yes. Right? Is this purple? No. Is this purple? Yes. No. No, it's not purple at all, right? And you can narrow it down by checking against different contexts. Now with colors, contexts are easy to come by because you can just show a visual stimulus and it's pretty obvious what the color is. So when we're testing for these, we want to create real-world contexts, and the context will either give a positive or negative test. Right? If we want positive evidence, then we want contexts where we think that the thing is going to be purple, right? Contexts that satisfy the truth condition. So for instance, if I hold up a book, is this purple? Well, I think so. It's not quite the same purple. It's not quite the same color as this book, right? They're not exactly the same. But since they're both true, since they're both purple, I can call each of them purple and still tell the truth. Then that helps us understand what the word purple means. Now, it gets a little trickier when we want to do negative evidence, but with colors, again, it's pretty straightforward. We just hold up an object that we think is going to produce a negative result, and then we give a stimulus. This is purple. Right? The speaker ought to say no, right? Because this is blue. This is purple. No, this is, again, navy blue. Right? This is purple. No, this is not even close, right? And so forth. So you can build a stimulus very easily and then have them judge it. Straightforward judgment call. Now, when we're testing things that aren't so easily given as a visual stimulus, we have to create a verbal one. And for that, again, it's not too difficult. We just have to create one. So let's say we want to test the sentence, it's raining. What kind of context would test that? Well, we could create a visual stimulus for positive evidence, or one for negative evidence. Or we could create a verbal stimulus. So let's imagine a context. We just give the speaker a context. It's 2 p.m., the sun is shining, there's not a cloud in the sky. And then you give the stimulus. It's raining. Any English speaker will tell you that's false. And they might think you're crazy. That's why you're telling them something that's absolutely, completely false. And that would be an example of negative evidence, because it tells us that the word rain, the verb rain, does not apply to sunny situations. And then, on the other hand, let's say that you're inside and then you hear the door open, your friend comes in drenched and says, it's raining. You could say that that's true, right? Most people would say that is true. Although some people might think, I'll check first because my friend gets wet, in lots of situations. So there, we haven't quite made a clear distinction, right? The context isn't clear enough. But if you look outside and you see rain falling from the sky, water falling from the sky, the creek outside your house is overflowing its banks, and someone says, it's raining, then yeah, that's true. So it's pretty straightforward as far as coming up with context, but you do want to make sure that you are ruling out possible meanings and possible scenarios that are not as determinative as you might hope.